Hello friends. Let's take a journey into a personality that's anything but ordinary. Imagine someone born under the revolutionary sign of Aquarius, during the year of the dog in the Chinese zodiac. What kind of soul lives behind those sharp eyes and unconventional mind? Are they the loyal rebel or the emotional enigma? What kind of lover, friend, or business partner are they? And what drives them deep down, when no one's watching? Let's dive deep into this unique astrological cocktail, Aquarius born in the year of the dog, and explore the layers of who they are in love, marriage, sex, friendship, business, darker traits, and life purpose. Love. Falling in love with an Aquarius dog is like discovering a hidden song playing beneath the surface of a noisy world, haunting, beautiful, and impossible to forget. At first, you may not even realize it's happening. They don't advertise their affection. There's no theatrical grandstanding, no overly romantic cliches. Their love begins slowly, like an invisible thread pulling taut between two souls. When they fall, they don't do it halfway. They fall with their intellect, their ethics, and their future plans already rearranged around you. It's as though they've been calculating the perfect formula for connection, and then, quietly, you become the missing variable. What makes them so unique in love is the duality of their nature. The Aquarius side views love as a cosmic connection, something born of mutual respect, shared vision, and mental intimacy. They are not driven by fleeting passions or physical obsession. Instead, they're captivated by the way you think, the way you ask questions, the way your dreams stretch into the sky without shame. But layered beneath that is the dog, the loyalist, the emotional guardian, the one who protects what it loves like a knight with an invisible shield. This is not a zodiac pairing that plays around. They may flirt with ideas, but not with hearts. Love, to them, is sacred. They are emotional paradoxes. You may sometimes feel like you're loving two people at once, one that needs total freedom, and one that needs complete stability. The Aquarian part of them craves space to grow, to think, to disappear into their inner world of philosophy and future making. Meanwhile, the dog within them just wants to curl up beside someone who is trustworthy, consistent, and emotionally honest. They want both solitude and security, both mystery and reliability. And yes, they are fully aware that those needs don't always align, which makes finding the right partner incredibly important and often incredibly rare. In relationships, they are not loud. Their love doesn't come with fireworks or endless declarations. Instead, it shows up in smaller, quieter ways, staying up late to listen to you talk about your childhood, sending you a book that made them think of your dreams, fixing a problem you didn't know you had. For the Aquarius dog, love is in the details. It's in consistency. It's in remembering that you don't like coriander and always making sure it's not in your food. It's in watching your favorite movie with you even if they hate romantic comedies, just to see you smile. But don't confuse their calm demeanor for emotional simplicity. Inside, they feel deeply, sometimes so deeply it overwhelms them. Yet they rarely show it. Their heart is often layered behind 1,000 thoughts and 2,000 cautionary tales. Past wounds leave strong impressions on them, especially if trust was broken. The dog in them remembers. The Aquarius overanalyzes. This combination means that betrayal, emotional, physical, or even energetic, cuts deeper than most people realize. They may forgive on the surface, but they never forget. Once they feel unsafe with you, their retreat is silent and often permanent. The kind of love they seek, and give, is rare. They aren't interested in surface-level connections. They don't chase butterflies. They want someone they can build a mental empire with, someone who is grounded enough to be stable, but brave enough to dream. They thrive with partners who understand that affection isn't always about physical closeness. Sometimes it's about letting them disappear into their thoughts and trusting that they'll come back. Sometimes it's about not texting all day, but showing up without being asked. To love an Aquarius dog is to love someone who doesn't just want your heart, they want your mind, your loyalty, your silence, your storm. Marriage. Marriage to an Aquarius born in the year of the dog is not a destination. It's an ongoing, living agreement between two souls who have chosen to walk through life together as intellectual and emotional equals. It isn't about tradition for them. It isn't about ticking societal boxes or following the timeline others expect. To them, marriage must feel authentic, purposeful, and progressive. This union is meant to elevate both individuals, not trap them in outdated expectations. Their ideal marriage is one that feeds their mind, stretches their heart, and gives them space to evolve, both separately and together. They don't fall into marriage by accident or pressure. These individuals choose with intent. Every decision is filtered through a web of future-oriented thinking and emotional intuition. Is this someone I can build a meaningful life with? Do we share values, even if our personalities differ? Can this person respect my independence without seeing it as emotional distance? If the answers aren't clear, they will delay, not out of fear, but out of respect for the gravity of the commitment. But once they do say yes, that promise isn't just romantic, it's spiritual. They take loyalty seriously, and they expect the same unwavering loyalty in return. What makes their marriages both unique and sometimes challenging is the constant tension between closeness and freedom. The dog in them is traditional in some ways, desiring emotional security, consistent rituals, shared goals. They crave the quiet comfort of a partner who always has their back, who is there at the end of every long day. But the Aquarius side resists predictability. They need room to breathe, space to think, time to be alone with their thoughts or immersed in a personal project. If their partner misinterprets this solitude as disinterest, it can lead to painful misunderstandings. For the Aquarius dog, emotional intimacy doesn't always look like clinginess. Sometimes, it's two people reading in separate rooms, perfectly content. Their ideal marriage is filled with growth. They need to be with someone who believes in personal evolution, who embraces change as part of life rather than something to fear. They want to feel that both people are constantly becoming better, not through pressure, but through mutual inspiration. A stagnant marriage will slowly eat away at their passion. They thrive in relationships that allow for risk-taking, creative problem-solving, and new ideas. If you're married to one, expect conversations about the future, not just vacations and kids, but ethics, society, the role of technology, the purpose of art. They're wired to build a life with meaning, not just comfort. They also bring deep moral integrity into marriage. The dog's ethical compass is strong. If they've made a vow, they will defend that bond with everything they have, unless their trust is shattered. Cheating, lying, manipulation, these are the red lines that, once crossed, are nearly impossible to come back from. Aquarius may try to rationalize, dog may try to forgive, but together, they rarely give second chances when the foundation has been cracked. However, if treated with respect and transparency, they'll pour themselves into nurturing the partnership with steady, devoted energy. You won't have to guess where you stand. Their loyalty speaks louder than words. As parents, they are remarkable. The dog lends structure, discipline, and a deep protective instinct. They will make sure their children are safe, secure, and grounded. But the Aquarius in them brings the other side, open-mindedness, curiosity, and a rebellious streak that resists controlling their kids. Instead, they raise independent thinkers. They encourage exploration, defend individuality, and create a home where asking questions is always welcomed. You'll find them just as comfortable at parent-teacher conferences as they are discussing space-time with a curious 8-year-old. They don't raise followers, they raise future leaders. Their long-term goal in marriage isn't just to survive it, it's to build a living, breathing partnership that stays alive through evolution, trust, and creative connection. It may not look traditional. It may not involve white picket fences or monthly dinner parties. But it will be deeply real. If you've earned their commitment, you've earned a partner who will stand with you through every season of life, questioning, growing, loving, always with one eye on the stars, and the other on your shared path forward. Sex. Behind the cool gaze and composed demeanor of the Aquarius dog lies a lover that few expect and even fewer ever truly discover. To the casual observer, they may appear aloof or even emotionally unavailable, someone who seems more interested in ideas than bodies, more turned on by a conversation about the cosmos than a suggestive glance. But peel back the layers, earn their trust, and you'll find a partner whose sensuality is rich, responsive, and intellectually alive. Sex, for them, is not a transaction or an escape. It is a form of connection, a sacred dance of mind, energy, and spirit. Aquarius, being an air sign, is deeply cerebral. For them, sex begins long before clothes come off. It starts with eye contact during a deep conversation, with a book recommendation that stirs something forbidden, or with an idea so compelling that it lights up their entire nervous system. Mental stimulation is their biggest aphrodisiac. If you can turn their mind on, the body follows effortlessly. They're turned on by originality, by partners who are bold in thought and emotionally open. They are not moved by physicality alone. In fact, without emotional or intellectual chemistry, sex feels flat to them, even hollow. To make love to them is to be seen, not just touched. Now enter the dog, loyal, attentive, and emotionally anchored. This part of their nature adds a powerful layer of devotion to their sexual identity. Once they've bonded with you, they will go out of their way to learn what pleases you. They are not selfish lovers. On the contrary, they find great satisfaction in creating a space of emotional safety and mutual exploration. They listen, not just to your words, but to your reactions, your breath, the way your fingers curl. They are intuitive without being intrusive, gentle yet passionate. Their goal isn't just pleasure, it's meaningful pleasure. They want you to feel safe, cherished, and known. In the bedroom, the Aquarius dog is surprisingly open-minded. They are not impulsive thrill seekers or wild adventurers in the traditional sense, but they are incredibly curious. They enjoy experimentation, not for shock value or ego, but because it deepens the connection. Think of it like this. Let's try this not because we're bored, but because I want to understand you better. Whether it's sensory play, fantasy exploration, or simply breaking a routine, their experimentation is always guided by intent, a desire to connect, not just perform. However, they need clear communication and trust before they'll let their full sensual side show. Despite their openness, they are not casual when it comes to intimacy. In fact, meaningless hookups can leave them feeling emotionally fragmented and spiritually off-center. While they may experiment in youth or during emotionally disoriented periods, they typically walk away from such encounters with a lingering sense of discomfort. The dog in them craves security and truth. The Aquarius seeks depth and insight. This combination means they need to feel like sex is part of something real, a shared journey, not just a temporary escape. When the bond is missing, the body may still react, but the soul quietly shuts down. Sex with an Aquarius dog is rarely just about physical acts. It's about energy, emotion, and presence. They are lovers who want to understand you, who pay attention to your moods and signals, who consider the act of touch to be a language all its own. Don't expect excessive drama or constant hunger. Their desire burns quietly but deeply. It's the kind of fire that builds slowly and lasts longer than most expect. And when they trust you enough to let go, to drop the mental shields and surrender, you'll witness a kind of intimacy that is both profound and rare. If you're fortunate enough to reach that place with them, where mind, heart, and body align, they will invite you into a world of sexuality that is nuanced, soulful, and unforgettable. It's not about domination or submission, not about pushing extremes. It's about being fully alive in the moment together. A shared breath, a shared heartbeat, a moment of sacred silence between two people who aren't just having sex, but creating something beautiful through it. That's what sex means to an Aquarius born in the year of the dog, not just contact, but communion. Friendship. Friendship with an Aquarius born in the year of the dog isn't loud, flashy, or filled with daily check-ins. It's deeper than that. It's the kind of friendship that holds. It endures storms, absorbs your silence, and offers support without needing a spotlight. These people don't just show up when things are good, they show up when things fall apart. They're not the ones who flood your phone with emojis or tag you in every meme, but they're the ones who will drive across town at midnight if you need them. No questions, no lectures, just presence. Their friendship is built not on frequency, but on substance, and it's something you feel in your bones more than see in your feed. Aquarius dogs are highly selective when it comes to who they let into their inner world. They're friendly, yes, and often admired for their intelligence and cool detachment, but true closeness? That's rare. They observe first. They watch how you treat others, how you react under pressure, how genuine you are when you think no one's watching. Once they decide you're worth trusting, they open a door most people never get to see. Behind that door is a friend who remembers what matters to you, who checks in on your dreams, who challenges your thinking and defends your name in rooms you'll never enter. They don't collect friendships for status. They cultivate them for meaning. Their friend groups are often a mosaic of personalities. Aquarians naturally attract the unusual: artists, rebels, quiet geniuses, and soul searchers. Add the dog's grounded, loyal nature to the mix, and you get someone who can navigate multiple social circles but still feels most comfortable with a few trusted allies. They don't need a crowd. In fact, too much surface-level socializing drains them. They'd rather spend an entire evening in one meaningful conversation than party hop through 10 shallow ones. They value uniqueness and authenticity in their friends, and they love a good debate, not because they want to win, but because they want to grow. There's a calm intensity to the way they show up for their friends. They're not interested in transactional relationships or social climbing. If they're in your life, it's because they see something true in you, your values, your curiosity, your humanity. And when they commit, they do so with quiet strength. They will keep your secrets like vaults. They will defend your name fiercely, even if you're not in the room. They are the kind of friend who tells you when you're wrong, but never walks away when you're struggling. Their loyalty is not loud, but it is unyielding. But here's the catch, and it's a big one: if you betray them, it's over. They give loyalty like a rare currency, and they expect it in return. Dishonesty, manipulation, or hypocrisy are deal breakers. The dog within them has a deep moral compass, and once that compass senses you've crossed a line, it becomes nearly impossible to repair the damage. You might get civility, but the emotional connection will be gone. They don't explode in rage. They retreat in silence, and that silence, for them, is final. It's not vindictive, it's protective. You get one real chance to be genuine with them. That's it. Yet for those who pass the test, for those who stick around, you'll find that friendship with an Aquarius dog is one of the most grounding and enriching relationships you'll ever experience. They are part philosopher, challenging you to question your assumptions, part therapist, offering a safe space to unpack your struggles, and part warrior, standing at your side when everyone else disappears. They're not there for show. They're there for life. They may not say, "I love you," every day, but they'll notice when you're tired, bring your favorite snack when you're down, or send you a random article just because it made them think of you. To be their friend is to be chosen, not out of convenience, but out of respect. It's to be seen in your full complexity and still accepted. And it's to know, no matter how chaotic life becomes, there's someone out there who understands your mind, values your soul, and will always be in your corner, quietly but completely. Business. In the world of business, Aquarius dogs are quiet disruptors, the ones who aren't just trying to climb the ladder but redesign the entire building. They bring a rare fusion of big-picture innovation and grounded loyalty that makes them powerful forces in any organization. While some people work to survive or to win, the Aquarius dog works to build something meaningful, something that lasts and improves the world around them. They're not driven by superficial success. They're driven by the need to align what they do with what they believe. When those two forces combine, they become almost unstoppable and unmistakably original. What truly sets them apart is their visionary mindset. The Aquarius in them sees trends before they happen. They're the ones raising questions others haven't thought to ask yet, spotting cracks in the system years before it crumbles, or inventing new ways to solve problems everyone else assumes are permanent. They love the challenge of the unknown, the potential of what could be. But unlike many idealists, they don't just dream, they execute. That's where the dog comes in. Loyal, methodical, and grounded, the dog gives structure to their ideas, allowing them to turn vision into strategy and strategy into results. This dual nature makes them particularly suited to leadership, not just in title, but in impact. They're not hierarchical by nature, and they don't care about having the biggest office or the flashiest resume. What they do care about is influence with integrity. They want to be in roles where their voice matters, where they can steer the ship in the direction of truth, progress, and innovation. Whether they're leading a startup, managing a creative department, or heading a humanitarian initiative, they gravitate toward positions where their decisions can serve a higher purpose, not just a bottom line. They are naturally drawn to industries that combine technology, creativity, and social change. Think sustainable innovation, ethical tech, education reform, or mission-driven brands. If they're building something, it's likely to reflect their values. If they're managing people, they'll do it with empathy, intelligence, and a strong sense of fairness. They believe in building teams that care about the work, about each other, and about the world. Their ability to mix strategic insight with human-centered thinking means they don't just build companies. They build cultures that people want to be part of. However, they are not easy to confine. Aquarius dogs hate micromanagement with a passion. They don't need someone breathing down their neck or checking their progress every hour. In fact, that kind of oversight will only make them shut down or check out. What they need is trust, flexibility, and autonomy. Give them room to work in their own rhythm, and they'll surprise you with brilliance. Box them in with outdated rules or unnecessary bureaucracy, and they'll start planning their exit. Their creativity can't be contained by rigid systems, and their loyalty can't be earned by title alone. It has to be deserved. One of their defining professional traits is their strong ethical compass. They are deeply principled, often to the point of being uncompromising. If they believe a company is acting in contradiction to its stated mission, or worse, violating basic human decency, they will walk away, no matter how good the paycheck is. They don't bluff or posture. When they say, "I can't stand behind this," they mean it. And they'll follow that conviction wherever it leads. It's not drama, it's integrity. To them, working for something they don't believe in is a betrayal, not just of their values, but of themselves. So if you're hiring or partnering with an Aquarius dog, understand this. You're not just getting a talented employee or collaborator. You're getting someone who will pour their soul into your mission, but only if it aligns with their truth. They'll question you, challenge you, improve you. They'll push boundaries and ask uncomfortable questions. And if you earn their trust, they'll stand by you with fierce loyalty, weathering storms and pulling miracles out of chaos. They don't do anything halfway. Not friendship, not love, and definitely not business. Because for them, work isn't just about getting things done. It's about doing the right thing in the right way with the right people. It's about building something that lasts longer than profit margins, something that matters. Darker sides. Even the most visionary souls cast shadows, and the Aquarius born in the year of the dog is no exception. Though they may appear calm, composed, and morally anchored on the surface, beneath that lies a complex tangle of emotions, defenses, and internal battles that few ever see, and even fewer understand. Their darker side doesn't show up with fury or chaos. It shows up in silence, in withdrawal, in those long stretches of distance where they seem unreachable, as if they've disappeared into a separate reality. This isn't to punish others. It's to protect themselves from the overwhelm of feeling too much in a world that rarely offers enough clarity. At the heart of their shadow lies emotional detachment. When life becomes too loud or too messy, when people become too needy, dramatic, or unpredictable, the Aquarius dog tends to shut down. They retreat into their mind, into logic, into an interior world where everything makes more sense than the chaos around them. It's not that they don't care. On the contrary, they often care too deeply, but feel ill-equipped to express those feelings in a way that feels safe. And so, they vanish. Not physically, but emotionally. They grow colder, more distant, harder to reach, and this can devastate loved ones who mistake that distance for apathy, when it's really a form of emotional survival. Another challenge is their unyielding idealism, which can harden into stubbornness over time. Once they've made a moral or philosophical judgment about something, or someone, it's etched in stone. The dog's deep loyalty to principles, when fused with Aquarius's conviction in their own ideas, can create a kind of quiet fundamentalism. It's not aggressive, it's not loud, but it's rigid. They can become utterly convinced that their way is the right way, refusing to adapt or entertain nuance. This stubbornness, though rooted in integrity, can make them difficult to work with in emotionally complex situations. Compromise, in their mind, can sometimes feel like betrayal, not just of others, but of themselves. This intense idealism is often accompanied by a kind of subtle superiority that they're not always aware of. Because they are frequently ahead of the curve, intellectually, ethically, or creatively, they can become quietly frustrated with people who don't get it. It's not arrogance in the traditional sense, they don't seek admiration or attention. But they may mentally check out of conversations that feel too shallow or redundant, and they may silently judge those who operate from fear or convenience rather than vision. Their sense of detachment isn't just emotional, it's intellectual. And when misunderstood, it can come off as condescending or dismissive, even if that's not their intention. Control is another hidden shadow. Not overt control, but mental control over outcomes, environments, and emotions, especially their own. They like to believe they're always operating from reason, but this can become a mask for avoidance. They often repress vulnerability, disguising it as independence or practicality. But the truth is, they're terrified of being emotionally exposed. Letting people in requires a level of surrender that doesn't come naturally to them. And when they feel emotionally overpowered, by love, loss, or failure, they don't fight. They vanish. They hide behind work, behind intellect, behind the safe walls of solitude. Forgiveness is another area of struggle. The dog's deep sense of betrayal, when combined with Aquarius's tendency to cut emotional cords quickly, can make reconciliation difficult. If someone crosses a moral line, lies, cheats, manipulates, they may cut them off forever. Not with anger, but with indifference. They won't yell, they won't seek revenge, they'll just disappear, walling off any chance of re-entry. And though they may move on externally, that wound often lingers internally, festering in silence, turning into a deeper distrust of people and vulnerability itself. The result? A person who becomes emotionally guarded, even in relationships that don't deserve the fallout. Their greatest challenge is to remain emotionally available while still protecting their sense of self. To learn that vulnerability is not weakness. That perfection isn't necessary for connection. That people don't need to think the same way, act the same way, or even grow at the same pace to be worthy of love and compassion. The Aquarius dog must learn to bend, not in ethics, but in empathy. To soften their grip on logic. To forgive faster. To recognize that not everyone sees the world through the same visionary lens, and that's not a flaw, it's a gift. Because only in embracing the humanity of others, messy, flawed, emotional, can they truly access the full power of their own. They may spend much of their lives trying to solve the world, only to find that their real evolution begins when they look inward, and realize that sometimes the hardest thing to fix is the barrier between their mind and their heart. Life purpose. The life purpose of an Aquarius born in the year of the dog is not something that can be confined to conventional labels or career titles. It's not about chasing wealth, fame, or even personal legacy. It's deeper than that. Their existence is a mission, a soulful pursuit to align authenticity with contribution, to remain true to their own values while building something that improves the lives of others. They are here to bridge gaps between the mind and the heart, the past and the future, the individual and the collective. At their core, they are not here to follow the world's rhythm. They are here to rewrite the song entirely. They are visionaries, but not the kind who are content with abstract dreams. Their Aquarian nature makes them futurists, always scanning the horizon for what's next, what's broken, what needs to evolve. They see systems failing before others even see the cracks. Whether it's education, technology, justice, or culture, they instinctively gravitate toward spaces that are stuck and ask, how can this be better? But the dog in them grounds this innovation with purpose. They don't want to change the world just for novelty, they want to change it because it's the right thing to do. Their idealism is not performative. It's rooted in a quiet, unshakable moral code. More than anything, They long to live a life of integrity and originality. They cannot, and will not, force themselves into molds that suffocate their spirit. A job that's just a job? A life built on empty success? That's not just unsatisfying, it feels spiritually offensive to them. They crave a life where what they believe and what they do are in harmony. They want to wake up and feel that their time, their energy, their talent, it all serves something real. Whether they're working in climate science, running a grassroots organization, creating disruptive art, or teaching in a classroom, they need their daily efforts to feel like part of a bigger story, one that matters. Helping others is a core part of their path, but not in a savior-type way. They aren't interested in rescuing people or earning praise. Their contribution tends to be systemic and empowering, creating platforms, tools, environments, or ideas that help others thrive. They're the ones who redesign broken institutions, who introduce new frameworks, who plant seeds that may not bloom for decades, but will one day transform communities. They are engineers of human upliftment, often working behind the scenes, their fingerprints on progress long after they've moved on. A major aspect of their purpose is connection, not in the social sense, but in the existential sense. They are here to connect opposites, tradition and innovation, logic and intuition, solitude and service. They are translators between seemingly opposing worlds. They can speak to academics and street poets with equal fluency. They can sit in silence and still be heard. Their strength lies in being able to hold two truths at once, to say, yes, the world is broken, and also, yes, we can fix it. Their life is often a balancing act between these dualities, and in mastering that, they teach others how to live more harmoniously, too. Their spiritual fuel comes from meaningful impact. They aren't motivated by applause or external metrics. What drives them is the quiet knowing that they made something better, even if no one notices. They would rather change one person's life forever than impress 1,000 people temporarily. Their legacy is not carved in gold plaques. It's carved in the ripple effects of the ideas they planted, the people they believed in, and the injustices they refused to normalize. Their fulfillment comes not from being admired, but from living fully aligned with their values, no matter the cost. Ultimately, the life purpose of the Aquarius dog is to live as both mirror and bridge, reflecting the truth back to the world while building paths toward a better one. They are the quiet revolutionaries, the ethical architects, the philosophical innovators. They don't need the world to understand them, they just need to keep showing up, heart steady, vision clear, doing the hard, meaningful work of being exactly who they were born to be. And in doing so, they don't just change the world, they give others permission to do the same. So, who is the Aquarius born in the year of the dog? They are the contradiction that makes perfect sense. The silent force in the room you don't immediately notice, until you do, and then you can't forget them. They don't announce themselves, they don't demand attention, but something about them lingers. The way they listen, the way they challenge assumptions with a single question, the way they hold space for others while still fiercely protecting their own truth. They are the loyal visionary, the intellectual empath, the quiet architect of futures no one else has dared to imagine yet. Their presence is a paradox, equal parts grounding and electrifying, and their impact often arrives like a delayed thunderclap, subtle at first, and then undeniable. To know an Aquarius dog is to know someone who is constantly navigating a world that rarely understands them, and somehow still choosing to serve it. The Aquarius in them demands freedom, innovation, and truth. They aren't satisfied with the world as it is, they see what it could be. And not just in a dreamy way. They analyze systems, question power, dissect patterns, and then rebuild. They're thinkers, tinkerers, teachers, and tinkerers of the soul. But the dog in them adds a powerful layer of ethics, loyalty, and quiet heroism. They don't just want to be right, they want to do right. And that simple difference changes everything about how they move through life. They are rarely easy to define. One moment they're deep in thought about climate justice, the next they're making sarcastic comments about reality TV, and somehow, it all makes sense. They don't fit in a single category, and they never will. They are the friend who disappears for a month, then shows up with a book that changes your life. They are the colleague who stays late to help you with your project, then politely declines the spotlight. They are the lover who needs solitude to think, but will defend your name with fire if anyone crosses a line. They are composed on the outside, wild on the inside, and always, always, trying to create something more honest than what currently exists. At their best, they are the soul of the future. They walk ahead of the crowd not to show off, but because the path less traveled has always felt like home. They challenge norms, break molds, and refuse to settle for safe answers. But what makes them truly rare is that they do all this with a moral compass that never wavers. They are not in this life to exploit, to impress, or to dominate. They are here to elevate, to build bridges where others build walls, to create meaning where others chase trends, to stand in integrity, even when it costs them comfort, approval, or convenience. But they are also human, prone to overthinking, to emotional self-exile, to cutting people off too quickly in the name of self-preservation. They struggle with balance, between mind and heart, distance and intimacy, justice and grace. They're not perfect, and they don't pretend to be. What they do possess, however, is a relentless commitment to growth. They will outgrow versions of themselves dozens of times over a lifetime. And they'll do so quietly, bravely, often without applause, because for them, transformation isn't a trend. It's a responsibility. If you are an Aquarius born in the year of the dog, know this: you weren't made for mediocrity. You weren't designed to blend in. You weren't built to echo the voices around you. You were here to build the architecture of a better future, to hold space for truth in a world that often favors noise, and to walk with the kind of integrity that changes others without even trying to. You are the still point in the storm, the rebel who won't scream, the visionary who plants seeds in silence and watches them grow into revolutions. You were not born to follow the path, you were born to build it. If you found this breakdown fascinating, don't forget to explore the rest of our personality deep dives, and hit that like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a cosmic insight. For more in-depth content and behind-the-scenes updates, check the links in the description, and stay curious.